Hello students, how are you? I hope everyone is fit and fine. Keep yourself safe from coronavirus. Wash your hands regularly, use sanitizers, wear mask and avoid crowded places. Stay at home and do take very good care of yourself. Today we will study geography and today's topic is Asia, climate and vegetation. In today's video, we will learn about the climate and vegetation of Asia. We will learn about the flora and fauna in different parts of Asia. As you know, Asia is a very large continent and its climate varies as we move from east to west and north to south. It is known as land of contrast, as it has hottest and the most coldest place, the highest and the lowest place, the wettest and the driest place. In the earlier chapter, we have discussed the regions and physical divisions of Asia. I will repeat, they are the northern lowlands, the central highlands, the southern plateaus, river basins and valleys and islands. These differences affect the climate of cities across Asia. Now, let us learn about the factors which affects the climate of Asia. The factors affecting are the large latitudinal extent, the distance from the sea, the winds, the mountain ranges and the ocean currents. These are the factors which affect the climate of Asia. Now, Asia, let us understand the latitude and longitudinal extent. The Asia, the east-west and the north-south extension of Asia is huge. We can see the north to south and east-west extension of Asia is huge. Asia spreads across all the three heat zones of the earth, that is the torrid zone, the temperate zone and the frigid zone. Thus, it experiences varying climatic conditions ranging from the equatorial type to the polar type. Now, we can see equator passing from here and Asia is very close to equator. So, it experiences different kind of climate, okay, from equator to Tropic of Cancer, from equator to Tropic of Cancer. This is Tropic of Cancer. This area experiences the torrid, it is called the torrid zone, it has a hot climate, okay. Then from Tropic of Cancer to the Arctic Circle, here we can see various climatic condition is experienced in this region, okay. These are the temperate zone, temperate kind of climate is experienced in this region. Asia also has a vast coastline and a large hinterland where the direction from the sea have the moderating influence on its climate. Hence, unlike most of the other countries, Asia does not experience any one particular climate. So, we can see here Arctic Ocean we can. So, Asia has a vast coastline, we can see we have Arctic Ocean over here, Pacific Ocean, Indian Ocean. So, all these coastline, it is a vast coastline. So, the area which is closed to the oceans the coastal areas, they experience the moderate climate, and it also has the inside areas, okay, which is around 1500 kilometer away from the sea. The distance of the internal area is about 1500, these areas which is very much internal, they are around 1500 kilometers away from the sea. So, these area they experience extreme climate. So, we can say that the continent of Asia has a large continental extent, latitudinal extent. It extends from 10 degrees south to 80 degree north. It covers 3 heat zones as the Arctic Circle, Equator and Tropic of Cancer passes through it. Thus, I just now told you it experiences the torrid climate, the temperate climate and the frigid climate. Thus, while one country has a tundra type of climate, the other country experiences equatorial type of climate. That means it is very hot. The equatorial type of climate means the climate which is very hot. The next factor is distance from the sea. Major parts of Asia lie in the interior far away from the moderating influence of sea. Thus, the extreme type of climate is experienced in this region with low and uneven rainfall. The next factor is winds. The monsoon winds influence the climate of large part of Asia by affecting the distribution of rainfall over many countries. Now, first let us understand what is wind. Wind refers to the horizontal motion of air from high pressure to the low pressure area. The vertical motion, that means downwards or upwards, this is called vertical. The vertical motion of the wind, they are called air currents. The vertical motion of the movement of the air is called air current. Heating the air decreases pressure. When the air is heated, the pressure decreases. Warm air rises, creating a low pressure area. Cool air rushes into the place of the warm air. Cooler, denser air produces high pressure area. Cooler air produces high pressure area and warm air produces low pressure area. As air goes from high pressure to low pressure, winds are formed. Now, let us understand the movement of the wind. Now, see what happens in the summer season. The interior part, the land becomes cooler, okay, and the land becomes heated faster and the water is still cold, okay. So, when the land becomes heated, the air above the land becomes lighter and they rises up. Hence, it creates a low pressure area. And what happens in water? Here the water is still cool, so the air above the water is cooler. Hence, it creates a high pressure area. So, air rushes from the high pressure area to the low pressure area like this. So, we see that in the summer the wind blows from sea to land. The wind is blowing from sea to land. Just opposite happens in the winter season. In the winter season, the land cools faster. In this picture, we can see how wind is moving from sea towards the land. as these winds they blow from sea to land, they carry moisture with them. So they carry moisture with them, so they are called monsoon wind because they causes rainfall in many parts of Asia. So we also call them monsoon winds. Monsoon is a periodic seasonal wind. It blows from sea to land in one season and then reverse back in the next season. We will talk about it later on. It will reverse, it comes back in the next season. So the wind which is blowing from sea to land, it is called monsoon winds. It carries moisture with them, and this is the cause of rainfall in many parts of Asia in summer season. Now let us see what happens in the winter season. Just the opposite happens. In the winter season, the land cools down faster than the sea. So here on the land, the air is still cooler, hence it creates a high pressure area, and relatively the water is still hotter, it is warmer. So the warm air from the sea, they rises up, hence it creates a low pressure area on the sea. So just opposite happens. The wind moves from the high pressure area to the low pressure area, hence the winds move like this and come back. These winds do not blow from the water bodies, hence they do not carry moisture, they are dry wind, and these winds they blow in the winter season, so they are dry and cold winds. So in this picture we can see the wind which is blowing from the land to the sea. They do not carry any moisture with them, hence they blow in the winter season. So they are dry cold winds. So we see that in summer the winds blow from sea to land. So we see the winds are blowing from sea to land. These are called southwest wind. As it blows from southwest side, it is known as southwest winds. As they blow from sea to land, they carry moisture and cause rainfall in many parts of Asia. You can see they are the reason of rainfall in many parts of Asia. So these are also called rain bearing winds. They carry moisture from sea to land and it causes rainfall in many parts of Asia. They are known as the southwest winds. In winters, the wind blow from land to sea. We can see the winds are blowing from land to sea. They are called northeast wind. As they blow from northeast, they are called northeast winds. These winds do not carry any moisture and they are dry and cold winds. Since they do not cross any water body while they are moving from land to sea, they do not cross any water body, so they do not carry moisture. They are cold winds and they blow from land to sea. So we can see that the southwest winds reverse back and returns as they in winter season, as they are known as the northeast winds. Okay. So the southwest winds they reverse and come back, okay, in the winter season. This is also known as the reversal of winds. So, we can say that the prevailing seasonal winds, the monsoon winds, are the most striking features of the climate of South Asia. They blow from the southwest in summer and from the northeast in winter. They are characterized by seasonal reversal in the direction and are responsible for bringing heavy rainfall in many parts of Asia. Hence, this area is susceptible to tropical cyclones and typhoons. The mountain ranges are also one of the factors affecting the climate of Asia. The mountain ranges of Asia running in the east-west direction obstruct the path of rain-bearing winds coming from the south and bring rain to the areas which lie on the westward side of the mountain. Further, the Himalayas act as a barrier to the cold wind rising from Central Asia. Owing to the high altitude, the climate in the mountainous region of Asia and mainly in the central highlands or central mountains belt is of tundra type. The central mountain also runs in the east-west direction, acting as a climate barrier. In this picture, we can see Pamir Knot over here and many mountain ranges which run to the east and west directions. These east and westward mountain ranges, they act as the climate barrier. Okay. They stops the rain bearing wind moving from the southwest and causes rainfall in many parts of India and other countries, and it also obstructs the cold winds coming from the northeast. Let us take the example of India. Here we can see the Himalayan ranges. Now, these Himalayan ranges acts as the climate barrier. We also see the Western Ghat and the Eastern Ghat this side. When the rain bearing winds from southwest moves this side towards the land, these mountain ranges, they stop the rain bearing winds from moving away to China, and they cause rainfall in India. So, India experiences rainfall due to the Himalayan range. It also stops the cold wind from China. It blocks the cold northeast trade winds in the north from crossing the Himalaya. Himalaya stops it, and it stops it from coming in the Indian subcontinent. So, if the Himalaya was not there, India would not get rainfall and India would bear the cold wind which was coming from China, and India would have become a cold desert. So, the climate which we experience in India, it is due to the Himalayas. It acts as a climate barrier. It stops the rain bearing monsoon winds to cross and go away, fly away to China. Hence, these rain bearing winds, they bring quite enough rainfall in India, and thus we can India is a means they can do agriculture, there is greenery, and the climate they get a very India gets a very good amount of rainfall. So, we can say that Himalayas obstruct the rain bearing monsoon winds from crossing over to China, and it also stops the cold icy Siberian winds from entering the Indian subcontinent. They block the cold northeast trade winds in the north and the rain bearing southwest monsoon in wind from the south. So, they block the cold northeast trade winds to come to India, and it also not southwest winds to China. It also stops the rain bearing southwest winds to fly away to China. The southeast monsoon gains moisture when it blows over to the warm north equatorial current. The Himalayas are the main reason for the cold desert climate in the plateau of Tibet. Here we can see plateau of Tibet, and they have a cold climate over there. So, the Himalayas are the main reason for the cold desert climate in the plateau of Tibet and a tropical climate in the Indian subcontinent. So, Indian subcontinent experiences the tropical climate due to the Himalayas, and this the Tibet, the plateau of Tibet, they experience very cold climate because the Himalayas are stopping these cold winds to enter India. One of the factors affecting the climate of Asia is ocean current. The ocean current, like the Oishio current and the Kuroshio current, influence the climate of eastern coastal margins, while the cold Oishio current makes the west coast of Japan freezing cold. On the other hand, the warm Kuroshio current washes the shore of eastern coast of Japan and makes winter still milder. The ocean currents carry warm and cold water from east to west. These cool and warm currents in the air affects the climate on land. Oceans take a longer time to get warm or cool compared to land. Hence, the coastal region experiences lower temperature during the summer and warm temperature during the winter as compared to the inlands. The inlands generally they experience the extreme climate and uneven rainfall. For example, the cold Oishio current lowers the temperature of Northeast Asia as it moves southward from the Bering Strait. On the other hand, the warm Kuroshio currents of eastern coast of Japan raises its coastal temperature considerably. Now, let us know about the different types of climate which Asia experiences. The climate of Asia can be divided into 8 different types: the tundra, taiga, temperate. In temperate, we also get the cool and the warm temperate. The desert, that is the cold desert and the hot desert. The Mediterranean type of climate, the monsoon type of climate, the equatorial type of climate, and the highland climate, that is the climate on the mountain region So, we have studied that the different factors affecting the climate of Asia are the latitude and the longitudinal extent, the altitude of a place, the wind, distance from the sea, ocean current, winds. Now, in the next video, we will learn about the different types of vegetation and animals found in different climatic region. Till then, take care. Thank you.